In the mysterious first episode of From, something strange is happening in a small town. Boyd Stevens walks the streets, ringing a bell that sends everyone hurrying home, a ritual that seems both urgent and ominous. At a diner, Sarah Myers is closing up, urging her last customers to leave. When they do, a jukebox starts playing on its own, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Outside, young Megan Pratt is enjoying the swings, but her mother Lauren insists she comes inside, hinting at some unseen danger. Boyd, still on his rounds, also encourages Megan to go in. Nearby, Kenny is playing chess with his dad Bing Qianlu. Their game is interrupted by Christy, wearing an EMT shirt, who tells Bing it's time to head to the basement. Bing reacts angrily, throwing the chess pieces in frustration. Kenny talks to Christy outside, sharing his hope that his dad will recover from whatever ails him. After Kenny leaves, Christy checks something mysterious by the door. Boyd, still vigilant, watches people outside a distant house. He and Kenny check that everything is safe before Kenny heads home. At the post office, a sign reveals it's been 96 days since the last incident, hinting at ongoing danger. Elsewhere, Frank Pratt is being pushed to go home by Tom, who's worried about Frank's wife Lauren's reaction. Lauren, at home with Megan, tries to reassure her daughter about Frank's return, but her words seem uncertain. After Megan prays, she hears a knock at the window and sees her grandmother, but something feels off. Her grandmother beckons her, promising to keep it their secret. This episode sets the stage for a series filled with suspense and mystery, where every character seems to be hiding something, and danger lurks just out of sight. Megan moves to the window and pulls back the curtain. As she does, Lauren enters the room and is surprised when Megan comments that the lady outside doesn't resemble her grandmother. Ignoring Lauren's warning, Megan opens the window, only to be assaulted by a creature.
I'm so lonely.
Baby, please just...
Maybe I can come in?
Switching scenes, we see the Matthews family in their RV. Jim is at the wheel while Tabitha sits beside him. Their kids, Julie and Ethan, are in the back. Julie uses hand puppets to stage a play, and Ethan is visibly upset, begging her to revive a character named Norman. Tabitha tries to soothe Ethan by assuring him that monsters are fictional, so Norman must still be alive. Meanwhile, Frank decides it's time to head out. He's surprised to find a crowd outside his house and thinks Lauren has organized another community event. But things take a dark turn when Boyd confronts Frank outside, angrily accusing him of not securing the house properly. He drags Frank inside to confront the consequences of his negligence, threatening dire consequences if he refuses to look. Boyd then orders Kenny to imprison Frank. Downstairs, Boyd reports to Father Kotri, declaring that everyone is now under his care. As Kotri ascends the stairs, Boyd spots a fallen decorative item. Back in the RV, Jim reminisces about the first time they visited Tabitha's parents, recalling his fear of their disapproval. Tabitha, however, asks him not to dwell on the past. Suddenly, their journey is interrupted by a fallen tree blocking the road. They realize they need to backtrack. Ethan, intrigued by the tree, wants to walk on it, and Jim cautiously helps him. Just then, a group of crows gathers overhead, unsettling them enough to decide to leave quickly. In another scene, Boyd visits Donna, who reminds him of a previous agreement that he wouldn't come around anymore. However, Boyd insists on seeing his son, Ellis. Inside, he finds Ellis sketching a portrait of Fatima, who is delighted to see him. After a warm reunion, Boyd shares with Ellis the sad news of recent losses in their community, suggesting it would be good for him to attend a memorial service. Ellis is busy when his dad, Boyd, comes to talk to him. He tells Boyd he's occupied, and Boyd decides to leave.
It might be nice if you came to the service.
Elsewhere, Julie's phone loses its signal, and Tabitha also realizes they might have taken a wrong turn. Jim tries to lighten the mood with Ethan, making jokes about the crows they saw. However, Tabitha points out they were actually ravens. As the Matthews family drives into Boyd's town in their RV, they notice something odd. All the parked vehicles have flat tires. They stop near a funeral where Father Kotri is leading a prayer for Lauren and Megan. Jim steps out to ask for directions, but the locals ignore him. Boyd steps in, telling the townspeople to leave the Matthews alone and saying he and Kenny will help them. Boyd advises Jim to keep driving up the hill to find the highway. Back in the RV, the family is unsure how long it will take to reach the highway. Julie scares Ethan by telling him that a group of crows is called a murder. Jim asks her to stop, and Tabitha corrects them, saying they're ravens, known as an unkindness when in a group. The family ends up back in the small town, where the locals still seem uninterested in helping them.
Wait. Did we turn somewhere?
No, I just...
Tabitha suggests they just leave, guessing they missed their turn. In town, a woman comments on the sadness of still hoping to find the road home. Sarah tells her brother Kevin to move on, as there are chores to do. Meanwhile, Tabitha and Jim argue about the wrong turn they took and getting lost. Right after they start driving again, Jim and his family find themselves back where they began. Jim tries another direction, but their journey takes a sudden turn. Kenny and Boyd are talking when they see the RV approaching. Jim tries to dodge a car on the road but ends up crashing the RV. He quickly checks on his family. Julie is hurt but okay, Ethan is trapped with what seems like a branch through his leg, and Tabitha is unconscious. Jim himself is stuck in the driver's seat, blocked by a tree that smashed through the windshield. The driver of the other car, a bit dazed, walks over to Boyd and Kenny and tells them about the crash. Boyd tells Kenny to get help from Katri and Christy, then rushes to the RV, while Kenny handles the man from the car. The man, Toby McRae, makes his way to the clinic and meets Christy. Another guy, trying to get out of Toby's car, is a bit disoriented and ends up handcuffed to the car by Boyd for safety. Boyd then focuses on helping Jim and his family, assuring them that more help is on the way. He gets into the RV, checks on Tabitha, and then helps Julie get out. Meanwhile, Father Katri and Kenny ask Ellis to help them as it's getting dark. Ellis, despite being upset with his father, agrees. At the clinic, Gina takes care of Toby, while Bing, another resident, expresses his displeasure about Toby's arrival. At the accident site, Christy attends to Jade, the man handcuffed to the car, while Julie is taken out of the RV. Boyd reassures her that more help is coming. Jade flirts with Christy as she checks his hand and leg movements.
I'm Jade.
Hi, Jade. Any pain or anything like that?
What's your name?
I'm Christy.
Ellis notices the car's New York license plates and recalls that Sarah and Nathan, two people they know, were also from New York, but Christy thinks they were from Boston. As more help arrives, the situation at the accident site becomes increasingly hectic. Father Katri offers Jade a drink, and Jade comments on the beauty of the people around him. In the clinic, Sarah tends to Toby, giving him a drink and reassuring him he's now in a safe place. Ellis and Kenny manage to get Tabitha out of the wrecked RV. Tabitha and Julie check on each other, but Tabitha suddenly feels weak and almost collapses. Christy updates Boyd about a patient's condition. He's stable, breathing fine, and has a strong pulse, but there's a table leg impaled in his thigh. They can't just pull it out. It'll take about an hour to do it safely. Boyd wonders if Christy can stitch up the patient inside the RV. Christy thinks it's possible and goes inside to help. She instructs Jim on how to support his son's neck to avoid further injury. She suggests Jim should go talk to his wife outside. Outside, Boyd is trying to persuade the family to go indoors for their safety, especially the children's.
We don't have a lot of time to talk about this.
We're not leaving anywhere.
Please listen to me. These woods are not safe after dark.
Meanwhile, Sarah is with Toby, who is panicking about something he did. In an unexpected turn, Sarah calms him with a kiss before suddenly ending his life. Boyd tells Ellis to free the handcuffed man if he causes trouble, but Ellis is skeptical about their situation. Boyd just asks Ellis to focus on helping the family. Tabitha, speaking with Jim, suggests they leave with Thomas, but Jim has to remind her their son Ethan is the one trapped in the RV. Jim attempts to explain the situation to Tabitha, who remains distrustful of the locals. Kenny interrupts, urging them to leave immediately. Back in the RV, Christy is looking for lamps or lanterns. Boyd clings to an ornament, hoping it will offer protection through the night. He prepares the RV for departure, ensuring everyone is as safe as possible. On their way back to town, their truck hits spike strips on the road. Father Katri assures them they'll be okay if they can reach Colony House. Kenny urges everyone to run fast.
Shit!
Regardless of what they encounter, Jim is confused about Boyd's earlier statement regarding the RV's safety, but Boyd insists there are things Jim wouldn't understand. Ethan wakes up in pain and starts having convulsions. Christy instructs Jim on what to do while Boyd covers the windows. Outside, Boyd hears a disturbing sound and looks out, only to see a group of people approaching the RV.